Welcome, boys and girls. Come in from outside. It is hot where you're at. It's hot here.
It's hotter than hell outside.
It is.
I feel like we're assuming a lot.
I was sweating
I am
today
baking.
in the shade. So
why were you outside?
Skateboarding.
Oh, yeah.
It is hot. The car I'm driving right now has no AC.
Oh, good time.
Why did I drive you here?
Just baking, and our apartment is hot.
Yeah, I don't. Our
It's
AC doesn't
not
work, right?
working. It says it's set to something or
Problem is,
another.
our landlord
But
just had a kid, so I can't really ask him to do anything right now.
It's hot.
I would be bugging him a little bit
Yeah.
because it is steaming here in the Cincinnati area, and we're inviting you into the coolness
cool zone.
of the podcast set. So
Nice.
welcome.
Nice.
I mean, you're already feeling so much better sitting there on the keyboard and your mouse, and hopefully your swimming trunks, because you're about to take a dive into the best gaming TV show and movie podcast the internet has to offer.
I'm not gonna lie, you've really jumped in with the puns and the.
when you get online, it's just all 5-star reviews.
Yeah, our Yelp reviews will come back again.
Really Yelp.
My grandmother loved this place.
What's our menu? Hold on, let's have an honest conversation.
Jacob
okay?
has such a great smile. That's what I saw on one
Thank
comment.
you guys. I appreciate
Always
that.
professional.
Always-
What would our Yelp review be?
I'm trying to think of like. There's so much.
I enjoyed the
say.
game selection.
Yeah.
The server Jacob could be more in the movie section a little bit more.
Yeah.
He could be.
Yeah.
I feel like DweeBros sucks PlayStation's tit.
That's definitely what we were
But you
doing.
know what? Listen, hey, let's jump right into it. Something happened this month.
Oh God.
Let's get into E3 chat.
Yeah.
Have
Let's
we
jump-
not talked about E3 yet?
No, because
We
we
have
haven't
not-
done
we
any
have not
hangouts. We've
broken
been
down.
gone. We've been just.
We've been off the radar.
I don't know why in my mind I thought we did an E3
So,
recap. We never did
You're
it.
talking
Okay.
about that. Well, our Yelp review is about to shift because me and Travis reacted to some of the, you can check out our reactions on the channel. I'll link to some of those right now. Microsoft's
Yeah.
E3.
We reacted
one
to
of
all
them.
of them, but we reacted to Microsoft specifically.
Yeah, so first, Microsoft, we liked it.
Yeah, I thought it was a good conference.
And we're notorious. I'm going to fix your little lapel, but.
Such a sweet thing for him to do.
Aww.
Thank you.
Yo, hey,
Just
such
do Yelp
sweet
review.
guys.
Sweet guys.
Yeah.
They help each other.
They're so nice.
Yeah, we get torched annually for being down on Microsoft's conference.
And hype on Sony or anything
And
Sony.
this year, I thought Microsoft turned a corner. I thought their conference was
Yeah.
good. Apparently, we missed the memo. This is the year to hate them again.
Yeah, so we go online and people are like, oh, this was terrible.
I didn't-
And it's the one time this entire generation that I've liked their conference.
Yeah.
It didn't waste time.
There
which
was
they were
no
notorious
segment
for.
that was just stupid except for the gear stuff. That was the only
They
thing
brought
that
a
I
car
didn't
out
like.
like they normally do.
But it was
But it was a
Legos.
Lego
It was a
car
Lego
this time.
But
car.
it's still a car.
But it was a Lego car. It's
They
different.
changed up our expectations of things we always make fun of them
Yeah.
for. They didn't waste a lot of
They
time.
had some new games. They had.
And honestly, they had the best moment, I think, in E3, which was the Cyberpunk
Yep.
release date and
Keanu Reeves. Yeah.
That was terrible.
Well,
Oh, you
I-
said
I-
Cyberpunk. And everybody said, oh my God.
Cyberpunk 2077.
No. You didn't hear me. Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk.
That's all he did.
What is it? But you know
He's
what?
Keanu freaking Reeves.
People
dude.
are
my
really into
gosh.
Keanu Reeves because John Wick, he's made a comeback. And I also thought that was just a really fun moment. I think they were the ones that had Keanu Reeves on the
I agree. They were top as far as different E3 conferences go.
So yeah, I really liked that. I was surprised to even get a Cyberpunk release date.
I was-
for E3.
I
I
was-
wasn't expecting anything. Like there was rumors going around, but I was like, this thing. I felt like a year ago they were saying it's going to be a while, guys.
Yeah.
You know, but I guess they were
Well,
playing there.
and the other
They're working
interesting thing
overtime.
about CD Projekt Red is they have another AAA game they're working on. They've
Yeah.
confirmed. They've been saying we're releasing one in 2020 and we're aiming for another one in 2021.
Yeah.
So people have been asking, is it a new IP? Is it Cyberpunk? What is it? What is this other game?
Yeah.
And they interviewed the CEO at E3, and here's what he said. It basically confirms what it's going to be. It's another full AAA game. They said, what is this other game you're working on? He said, it is a full AAA game, just like our more recent games.
Yeah.
They said, And they said CD Projekt Red works on 2 franchises. They said The Witcher and Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Said those are the franchises. He said, and they said, well, anything else? He said, no reason to speculate on anything else. Those are the franchises we're focused on.
So, it might be
I think we're getting Witcher 4. Like, I think that we're getting Witcher 4 in 2021. Which, if we're getting Witcher 4 with like a year into new consoles, my gosh!
Because Cyberpunk already looks incredible.
Yeah, So I'm pumped for Cyberpunk, but I'm almost like, I was really happy with the Witcher trilogy. I was good with it being what it was and ending there. If they bring it back, I almost gotta think you focus on Ciri or you're focused on somebody else instead of Geralt. I think Geralt's story is complete.
I'm good.
But I don't know. I just figured I'd throw that in there too, because like it wasn't a focus obviously of this E3, but it seems like we're getting another Witcher.
Yeah, maybe so. I don't know if I'm ready for a new Witcher just yet.
I'm still finishing up the DLC of the last one.
Witcher 1 was my favorite.
Did you play that one?
No.
I don't think you played any of them.
I don't play any of them. I don't have time for that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that was such a long game. I don't know.
60 or 80 hours.
I'm still chewing on it. The DLC itself was 40. One of the
I have not started the DLCs
okay,
yet.
Well, it's only 40 hours.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So, but yeah, that was a great showing. Yeah,
Elden Ring was also revealed there.
Was revealed, yep.
Elden Ring was a good CGI trailer. If you're going to get a CGI trailer, make it like that. Give it the tone of the game. Don't just show crazy action.
And we trust From Software, and From Software we trust.
Yeah.
Also, they showed Halo Infinite, another CG trailer, but that got me back in the mood of like, okay, I'm ready to go back to Master Chief.
Dude, the past couple times they've revealed Halo games before this, it's been like 4 Spartans like sliding down a mountain, like shooting all these different things.
Master Chief back.
And this was simple. It was like Master Chief and a guy
all I care about
in a ship talking cryptically. Nobody knows what's going on.
And they really, this E3, they pushed it. It sounded like last 2 years they've been really pivoting to, hey, this Game Pass, all this, all this stuff going on. But this E3 they doubled down even more and was like, hey, this. I haven't used it yet. The Game Ultimate Pass on PC or whatever.
So, it's great.
Just had a situation happen with that. I'm not very happy. It was very terrible, and I'm very angry at Microsoft. So
we're trying to win with Microsoft right now.
We already cashed the check.
Yeah,
we can't.
They paid us.
So I went ahead and love Microsoft.
Phil is going to be very disappointed.
Yeah,
they did a great job, and I have no complaints whatsoever.
Awesome.
What happened?
Okay, so I got Game Pass because Travis told me about it. I didn't get to watch the press conference till later. I was out and about doing life and whatnot. I was actually at Cedar Point. It was quite a great time.
He has a life? He didn't watch the conferences?
I know, right?
Yeah, you missed out on the Lego car.
I was shooting guns. But even then, I was like, man, Game Pass is coming to PC. And I was like, this doesn't make much sense because I feel like every game that's on Microsoft I can end up getting on computer already. But I was like, okay, whatever, I'll get it because I have teenagers who are like, hey, I want to play Dead by Daylight with you.
Yeah.
And we have an Xbox, but it's like, it's your Xbox, I say, and I don't get on it.
Yeah.
So I got Game Pass, I downloaded it, and then it was like, well, wait. Venture back to 3 years ago. Jacob made a decision to trade his PlayStation 4 that he wasn't playing for an Xbox One with his friend Zach.
You did do that,
Not this Zach, but another Zach. And when I made that trade, I just wanted to play Halo. That's all I wanted to do. It was a classic Jacob trade, all right?
The classic Jacob trade.
You trade in your hardware for other people's hardware and sell it and get it back.
And then I go get another one. It never fails.
Yeah.
But I ended up getting this stinking Xbox One. I'm playing it, and I had to create a Microsoft account. When I did that, I created it accidentally through Zach Campbell's email. So I went to set up Game Pass, and I created it under my
Zach has the Ultimate Pass.
I bought him Ultimate Pass.
Here's my point.
And Zach probably went home that day, checked his email, went, cool.
Here is why I don't have sympathy. If you are giving a box away or you are receiving a box, factory reset that thing. You have done that for years. You've had people's PS4s with other people's accounts on them as the main account.
I still have mine.
I have friends who will have they'll buy a PS4 off of somebody and they'll just have this random dude's PS4 account still on this. Factory reset that thing.
What if they bought games and they're digitally downloaded?
They're not yours. That is the price you pay. So I have no sympathy for you whatsoever.
Don't worry. I'm fair. I spent an extra $1 and created another whole new account.
Whoa, how generous.
Yeah, I am Microsoft. You should love me. I couldn't play the game I wanted to play on PC. I found out it wasn't on there.
Yeah, there's that
different.
Kind of
they have different games
for different.
F you! Alright? No, that's
but
not how
did you get Game
before.
Pass Ultimate?
Yes!
Because then you can get on your Xbox also.
Don't give a crap. I want on my PC. So then I sat
get
there.
that. I understand that.
So then I had to drag out the Xbox, plug it in, update the effing Xbox, and then I found out my Xbox 360, my Xbox One controller was at my office. So then I'd use the giant Duke controller just to play games with these teenagers. But then I realized, I thought you streamed on Xbox Game Pass.
No.
You download the freaking game.
Yeah, no.
So here I am at 12:30 at night.
You're misconflating a million different things.
Hey, I don't give a crap. Make your stuff very, very easy to understand. All right?
So you're upset they haven't implemented streaming yet?
No, I'm ticked. I thought that was the whole point of what I'm paying for.
They can't win, man. They really can't win.
So I downloaded, I sat there, it was 12:30 at night, I waited like 40 minutes to download this freaking game, and then I was just like, I don't want to play this anymore. Why did I get Game Pass? I haven't played it since.
So, not a fan of Game Pass just yet.
I just want, if you're going to sell a service, give me everything you're supposed to sell you put on the Xbox.
I get that, because when I got the Ultimate Pass, I was like, oh, there's some other games that are only
The-
for Xbox,
the
but
reason-
not for PC as well. It's kind of a weird thing, because they are pushing that, like, you can play our games on PC and games on Xbox, but then they have this pass, but they're
you
not
really
letting
can't play
it
It's
open.
Let me
It's
say
in
this though. It's like 80-85% the same list. It's just certain games. Number one, if they made it mandatory that it has to be the same games, then there would be some games you couldn't put on one or the other because they don't exist on one or the other. And then apart from that, you might have, a company that says, hey, we've got this indie game we do really well on Xbox, but we don't have a big PC base, so we want to be on the PC one. We don't want to be on the Xbox one. I get it.
It's okay. I'm not mad. We're getting a new Xbox. It's okay. We're basically be getting a soon-to-be pre-built PC. That's what we're going to be getting.
Yeah,
next.
so they really pushed at this E3 conference. They basically said holiday 2020. That's when
120 frames per
That's
second.
when the next gen. I don't believe that's going to happen. I think it's going to be 60.
graphics.
I think it's going to be 60, and I think they're
a million
60 at
teraflops
tops.
of power.
Here's the thing that could really sell me on the new Xbox. Microsoft, you own Windows 10. I understand that this is a scary idea for them. If you're giving me something with that much power, give me the ability to boot into even a somewhat handheld version of Windows 10 to play PC games.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, at least anything I can buy on the Windows PC store, let me buy on the Windows X. Make it the same, because it is basically a PC.
They're competing against each other.
Make it have Windows 10 on it in some capacity. That way, I'm not saying I have to be able to download Steam to my Xbox and all that, but that'd be amazing. But
That'd be great.
I think that's the one thing that could really set the Xbox box apart from other people's boxes.
In the
is
end,
you boot it up and it's an Xbox, but you can boot into a back end and just say, hey, you're running your own risk. If you get a virus, your fault. You're going to need to factory reset it. And I understand that opens up all sorts of different things. But at that point, I would buy an Xbox and never build another gaming PC.
No.
I really would if I could do that.
If it's easy.
I would not need to build a gaming PC because I'd have an Xbox. I can boot into the Windows side.
Now, that's my big issue. Well, maybe I don't want Windows on the thing because I've had such a struggle with it. But
if it's
I would love to have it plugged in easy, a PC to my TV and just have all that, and I wouldn't have to worry about downloading drivers, download whatever. Just let me have all that, the good of a PC with the good of a console.
That makes no sense.
Figured out.
If you want the client, put the client like Steam. Like, make it where you can download an Xbox client and get access to Xbox games.
The other side of that is with the new Xbox app that's on PC, it basically is the Xbox on your PC. It just has slightly different games. So I think that's got to be their end game.
What do they want?
What are they waiting on? Are they just putting pieces together and they're slowly kind of meshing them? I don't know. But next year is this next gen.
They also talked a lot. Did you watch the Phil Spencer interview with Giant Bomb? The late at night. Those interviews are really, truly great because he actually talks more off the cuff and shares like, this is kind of what we're thinking with this, or this is what we're trying to do. One of the things that they talked about was, because they asked him, they were like, where's streaming at? Like, we played on the show floor, it feels really good. We understand that the server's like 50 miles away, so it's not like in the backyard. But Phil Spencer basically said, we believe in XCloud. Is this messed up?
No, it's good.
Okay.
I'm keeping an eye on it.
He said, hey, we know that streaming is not where it could be. Said it is good, but he said that he thinks that it probably is 50 years from being perfect.
Yeah.
So their vision is, yeah, you can stream off of these mainframes and things that are, 100 miles away or whatever. But his vision also is using an Xbox that you own to stream to your own local area. So, and he talked about crowd sharing. So he talked about being able to have an opt-in service where maybe you accrue Microsoft points for making your Xbox something that can host other people in your area.
Yeah.
And so basically imagine in your neighborhood if, there's 15 people with Xboxes and they're opted into that, then if you're on your phone somewhere and you're in a neighborhood and there's 15 people with Xboxes, you could literally use the Xbox computing power of those Xboxes and they would have a rewards. Now obviously that would take power and stuff and it'd be plugged in yours, but you basically would be peer-to-peer running a server and they could stitch together Xbox. How crazy is that, though? That is a really interesting idea.
This is what happens. You're going to start having people buy PS3s thinking they can run, nuclear weapons or some kind of weapons of mass destruction, and then we'll be blowing people's houses up. We're in trouble if they think they're competing.
That did happen with PS2s, but anyway, I thought that
I want to really fix this.
I thought that was a really interesting idea. There was just a lot of interesting stuff in that interview. I thought it was cool how he basically said streaming is really good. Streaming is not yet excellent. He literally said that. He said streaming is not going to touch having the console on a 4K TV. Yeah. And so I appreciated that because that's very honest. He's not going to just sit here and say, oh, it's going to be the best thing ever. So I think Microsoft is uniquely positioned to kick everybody's ass. Yeah. I really do.
Honestly, I'm going to be completely honest with you. You're wrong.
Uh-oh.
I'm just kidding. But I do think that they have a very Sega mentality right now.
Sega.
And the reason I say this is because when you look back at what they were doing is that they were constantly pushing their hardware while not really thinking ahead of what they were trying to do or trying to accomplish. I think what's happening is they have two lines like we talked about. I wish when's they going to merge? Because eventually they're going to make
PC.
Because what's happening.
But I see the very clear trajectory where they've been merging.
But they're not I don't feel like they're going towards that.
I 100%. I completely disagree.
I know. I think
they just lost Xbox Game Pass PC. They just launched it.
Launched it, but they're still making another freaking Xbox.
I don't. So
what's their end game then? Do they want to be on the PC?
Let me explain this. I don't. Number one, did you watch the conference?
Yes.
Okay. So what they are trying to do is they are trying to, number one, build up their first-party software because they want to have software. So they bought all these studios and they're all in R&D and they're all making games. So that's number one. They have to have software. Number two, they're trying to have the best hardware division in the game. So they believe in their hardware division. The X is supposed to be a really good console. They're working on a new console. And the goal of that console is to rival anything power-wise on PC, anything, that you would want on a console. They want it to be the best console that there is. Then they're investing in streaming tech so that anybody can access Xbox games library regardless of the box that they own. So their end game is people buying Xbox anything, whether it's the Game Pass, whether it's the Game Pass Ultimate, whether they're on PC and they're just using the Game Pass PC, whether they have an Xbox, whether they don't, probably eventually on a Switch, whether or not they just want as many people as possible, whether they have a phone, a tablet, a Switch, an Xbox, a PC. Anybody that plays games, they want to some way be connected to those people. They're trying to make their brand as universal as possible. Okay. That is their end game. Their goal is for my stepdad to literally have Xbox on his phone so that he can play something on his phone. That is they want anybody. But they also want hardcore gamers to buy their box. So their end game isn't, hey, buy our box and then the 40 million people that buy our box are the only people that can buy our games. Their goal is, let's have a box, let's make it the best box that there is, but let's also share our games everywhere else because it just shares our name and our brand. That's their goal.
All right. Well, they're not doing a good job, Alex. I don't believe in it.
Well, me and Travis, you can give us good Yelp reviews, and then we'll try to find a replacement. Jacob might be looking a little different next month. Is all I'm
used to it. That's fine.
He might be a different name, different person. If you catch my drift.
I think Kenny will do great here.
All right. So along with E3 stuff,
there was like 8 other conferences. We did learn
also. We had done all of the reactions, all the conferences. We did Ubisoft, and we learned never to do Ubisoft again. It's the same every year. Just Dance. They come out and dance. They show another Assassin's Creed thing.
It was less interesting this year than it's ever been.
Oh yeah, and they even basically was copying off Sony from 3 years ago with the playing the thing, and it was just like, man.
They give updates on their live service games, all of which look like good military shooter fun, but none of them are games we play.
Watch Dogs, I thought that was a good pivot for them of making it more like every NPC you can hire and stuff. I thought that was neat. But here's the thing. I think there's people that legit
like they
play
love
those games.
all those
like,
games.
Those Rainbow Six games do great. So the thing is, we were sitting there going, this is just miserable for us. What are we reacting to? Just being miserable people watching this? So, announcement we made during that live streamed reaction is we're not going to be reacting to Ubisoft next year.
Yeah.
I don't see a reason to. And it reminded me of, like, before we started doing reactions to begin with, I'd only always watched Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo.
Yeah, the main ones.
I never watched anybody else. Square Enix had a good showing.
Square Enix had a great showing this year. I loved almost every minute of that
they were back-to-back stuff. Final Fantasy 7 freaking remake looked incredible.
The only fart was the Avengers stuff. It just kind of fell flat for me. But
really,
other than that, theirs was good. It was like JRPG after watching Ubisoft and then later watching Square Enix. I was like, I'm in heaven now.
We're into.
Yeah.
So we will be reacting to Square Enix next year and whatever. EA didn't really hold one.
They didn't have one this year.
So, but I didn't miss them at all. That's another one I might not.
Yeah,
maybe not.
And Bethesda is one that they're a roller coaster. They're terrible one year. The next year they're announcing Elder Scrolls and Starfield and all this stuff, and then this year they were not great.
Yeah,
It was like several mobile games and
I think they were probably
a couple new IP from. I thought Ubisoft was the worst.
I think Ubisoft. It's a toss-up. At least they had Doom Eternal, Bethesda.
Bethesda had Doom Eternal. I thought that their streaming technology announcement was interesting. How it is always getting involved somehow with new tech. So I thought that was cool. The thing that saved Bethesda for me was the two non-Bethesda studios, like the two that they publish, which are that
Tokyo.
The Tango Gameworks is making that Tokyo game, which looked really freaking cool.
Yeah.
And Arcane is making that, what is it? It's not Sidewinder. I don't know.
I don't know what it was.
I don't know, but it was like that kind of 70s kind of vibe on an island. Problem with both those games is, not necessarily a problem, but just CGI trailers. So it's hard to get hyped about it. And so that was it outside of Doom Eternal. And
the Doom Eternal looks good, and that's coming out this year.
So
that'll be cool. But Bethesda is good at wasting your time.
Yeah, they were a solid D for me overall. I was
but looking forward to Doom. Anything else from E3? Oh, Nintendo's.
Yep.
They played with us with the Banjo-Kazooie. I thought that was a good.
That was a good
troll. Finally got to see Animal Crossing. I'm done with Animal Crossing. I played it once. I've got it out of my system. But cool for the people that are into it.
I love Animal Crossing.
So what do you think of this?
I'm excited. I always want to kind of recapture what I got to play in the GameCube. I didn't like the idea of playing it like on the 3DS. I don't know what it was. It just didn't make sense.
But you liked it on the.
But now that's coming to the Switch, so I can sit back. I want to sit back on my couch and like just kind of chill out, like. Second Life, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they're definitely chill out games. So that's cool. And then they showed more of that Platinum game. Frick. Astral Chain.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
That looks freaking cool. I even heard recently they said they're planning that as a trilogy if it sells well. So
it looks great. It's looked better every time they've shown it.
And then they did one final tease, which was Breath of the Wild 2.
Which
I'm still kind of in shock about that.
Yeah.
I don't know, like. I don't think of the world right now as, there's a sequel to Breath of the Wild coming. Like, it doesn't feel real, even though the trailer was pretty substantial. It wasn't just like a title card. Like, they showed in-game cutscene footage, and it looked dark. It looked creepy. Definitely looks like we're getting more of that same world. Hoping we get a different spin on it. The castle looked like it was rising up at the end, so maybe we'll get some kind of like an inverse where like you go underground and it's like
maybe a Dark World of Hyrule.
So I heard an interesting rumor. Who knows if it's true? Definitely. So it definitely seems like who's the guy that makes these games? Like the main director, Aonuma.
I think
they were asking him about playing Zelda, and Aonuma was like, a lot of people ask about that. And it would be really cool, and that's all I can really say about that right now. So that was his exact words.
When they showed Breath of the Wild, people were like, "Oh," because he had kind of a feminine look to him versus the other games. People were like, is that Zelda actually?
Yeah.
Like, or is that a girl
So
Link?
I think from that response, unless it was just a translation error, people were like, it actually seems like he's kind of more or less confirming.
Yeah.
I would be really into if there's like a dark world and somehow there's like an inverse world, and so in one world you play as Link, in the other world you play as Zelda, and you do things on one side, it affects the other, and like you go back and forth, almost like an Ocarina of Time, but instead of young and old Link, it's Zelda and Link.
Yeah.
Something like that would be really cool.
Yeah, and they said this one's going to be a lot darker.
Yep.
This one is.
So a lot darker,
cool.
and they said that a lot of the younger staff at Nintendo on the Zelda team are kind of taking the reins on this one, and they said that they've all been playing Red Dead Redemption and are very influenced by that, which... That's kind of crazy.
Yeah. It's crazy to me because I figured, like, since Breath of the Wild came out first, like, I don't know, I kind of feel like they did it better than Red Dead.
I get that,
Red Dead
yeah.
did stuff. I think every open world game in this generation that we've talked about, either through Dweebs or whatever, had like a major component that no other one had. That they had their little unique thing.
Yeah.
And Red Dead had a unique, like, the camp system and like talking with the NPCs, you felt like a family.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And like some of the deep like story stuff with that, I wonder if they're gonna try to like
That'd be really cool.
have more story elements that way, because that's what I felt like was a strength of that game. But yeah, that was all on Nintendo. Anything else that kind of stood out to you? Final Fantasy VII Remake, Cyberpunk. And that Breath of the Wild was kind of like, for me.
Only other thing is we touched on Elden Ring for a second. A lot of really great interviews have come out about that game since then, and stuff about gameplay. It's going to be more like Dark Souls and some stuff like that. But one thing I thought was interesting was we've been hearing George R.R. Martin wrote it, but we're also hearing Miyazaki wrote it. So I've been wondering, like, what is the breakdown there? Like, did they write it together? And so Miyazaki gave a really in-depth interview, and what he basically said is he is a big fan of George R.R. Martin, and George R.R. Martin wrote like these vampire books, which are Miyazaki's favorite books, and Miyazaki makes every new staff member read this specific like book. So like it's not the Game of Thrones. I mean, he's a fan of Game of Thrones, but he's a really big fan of this one specific book or series. So he's always been a fan of of George R.R. Martin. So I guess Miyazaki reached out to George R.R. Martin and said, "I want to make a game. This is kind of like just like a starting idea. Would you be willing to develop this universe for me?" So George R. R. Martin read it, liked it, and ran with it. And George R. R. Martin wrote an entire, basically, history and lore of a world. And then, and if you play any Miyazaki game, whether it's Bloodborne or Sekiro or any of the Dark Souls or Demon Souls, you know that these games always have like all this stuff that happened, and then the game is like in the end times. Like the game is always after everything's fallen apart. Miyazaki said this game is the same. It's after everything's fallen apart. He even said that he's like, I'm always going to make games like that. That's just how I see the world. But George R. R. Martin is the one who wrote all of the backstory of the world before it fell apart, and he wrote the backstory of how it fell apart.
Oh, cool.
And then Miyazaki wrote the actual story of like what happens in the game. So that clears it up for me a whole lot, because I've always been like, I mean, they have very different storytelling styles from what I can tell. That makes a little more sense. So it seems like we're maybe going to get some of the best lore. Controversial. I'm not really into Dark Souls lore. I like Demon Souls, Bloodborne's cool. I thought Sekiro was kind of neat. I always feel like it feels really disjointed. It's very creative, but it just seems like not for me. I don't know. I don't get the lore in Dark Souls really that much.
I feel that Dark Souls could do it right in that a game that does it perfectly is Metroid Prime. Metroid Prime, and even like BioShock with their kind of like audio messages.
Sure.
Like things that you don't have to do. And in Metroid, there was these ruins that you could scan, and it would tell you like what led up to what you didn't. But Dark Souls never had that. You had to read item descriptions and stuff that you had to go really out of your way. Which is cool,
the problem for me isn't just that you have to go out of your way, because another game you have to go out of your way is Destiny. And I don't like the way the lore is presented in that game either. Either of them, Destiny 1 or 2. It's very crappily presented. However, a couple weeks ago, I watched a 2-hour lore video on Destiny, and I ate it up. I loved it from beginning to end. All the different people they were talking about are like NPCs in the game, and I was like, this is amazing. I have tried with Dark Souls. You know, if you watch this channel, I play all those games. I introduce those games to my friends. I never can ever focus on these lore videos about the story of Dark Souls. It just, there's no starting point, there's no frame for me to really digest it. It just seems like a complete madhouse. So to me, it's not even just that it's presented badly in the game and you got to read it. It's that I don't actually even like it when I watch it, when it's all curated and put together. It just seems Like unpopular opinion. It just seems the only one that I really liked the lore was Demon Souls, because it was very clear. Like, these demons invaded, they ate the souls of men. You got to kill the demons to make the fog go back. It all made cohesive sense. And Dark Souls, it's like a fire, but then it's dark, and then Age of Dragons, and it just like none of it connects in a way that makes sense to me. So all that being said, the idea of George R.R. Martin doing that backstory, and then we're going to get that Miyazaki mysterious like end times vibe with a George R.R. Martin backed lore. I see major potential in that. Yeah, so
that'd be cool. And then one last thing about E3, which was, I liked the announcements and stuff, and like I said, this is the first Microsoft I enjoyed, but there was a lot of people saying, and I felt this way when I was watching even Microsoft's and Square Enix or whatever, it was games we had already kind of heard about. There wasn't any major news.
Slam dunk insane.
Yes, and it really felt like, at first when Sony had announced they're not doing E3, it's like, really? But then after everything came out, it was just like, I get it. We're closing in on this generation. They could have showed Ghost of Tsushima, maybe a little bit of Last of Us, a little bit more, but it's like, they've done that.
They don't need new things.
Yeah, they
right
don't have
now.
to do it. So it's like, maybe they were kind of smart and doing that this year, and maybe they're the smartest ones in the room.
It's always better not to overexpose your brand.
Yeah, so I think they'll be back with a vengeance, and I do think they'll be holiday as well.
I really hope that they are back, because a lot of discussion this year on E3, people that were there said that it was, we probably could have gone this year. We probably could have gotten in, because people that were there said the show floor was pretty empty a lot of the week. A lot of the events didn't have they weren't packed out like they normally are, and I think somebody like Sony being gone, affects that.
I think that,
and I think a lot of developers and stuff are really busy right now, because I think people forget E3 isn't just for fans; it's for people in the industry to go, and everybody's busy getting acclimated to new tech and closing out big projects. But I will say, I hope that Sony comes back, and I hope that E3 continues to be what it has been in the past, because I think that the industry is better for it. Like, when there is that big thing. I don't want them to all just retreat into their own Nintendo Direct things, because I think that it's the one time a year people at my work who don't play games bring up things the week of E3, because it is that the world stops and watches. People that don't pay attention to games, but maybe they're into entertainment, but like they like movies more, they like something else more. There's something about E3, it's such a big bang that it makes waves across all channels. And I think that it's important for the medium to have that thing. Phil Spencer gave he talked about that. They asked him, they're like, how do you feel about Sony not being here? Do you feel like it's better for you? Do you feel like it's worse for you? He said, I think it's worse. He's like, I think it's worse because we want more people in the world to play games. Yeah. And the less of the people that make games we have making noise this time, at this moment, at this time of year, the less opportunity there is for people to connect to a game. Because he talks about, he's like Sony brings a lot of things that we can't and don't do, and so when they aren't bringing those games out and showing them, there's less people getting excited, and he's like, we all suffer for it. So he said, he's like, I really hope that they're back next year.
I think it was the right call they didn't come this year, because I think it would just been redundant.
Yeah.
But I would think they would come back for PS5 next year. I think that's going to be big.
I think
they're going to push that big, so big time. So, yeah, E3. What have we been playing lately? I want to real quick, because you were talking about Dark Souls stuff. Mm-hmm. Before I forget, Dark Souls is not on the list this month.
Okay.
So I started up a new game of Dark Souls 1 because I wanted to go back and kind of try the series again. I don't know if it was too quick because I beat Dark Souls 3 just recently. One of the last podcasts talked about that. I don't know what it is. I got a little far into that and could not take it.
Yeah.
I think Dark Souls has an amazing atmosphere that is unmatched by many of the other games in the series. I think it just going into this, I forgot what the forest freaking name is.
Yeah, I'm going to lose my card.
Basin?
Yeah, Dark Root, Garden and Basin.
Yeah. Going in there and just
that
the sound design and the monsters when they come out and stuff, it's really, I see why people cling to that one.
Yeah.
And going back again, I saw that again, but man, coming from Dark Souls 3 and Bloodborne and especially Sekiro to the slowness and the goofiness, the kind of quirks of that old one, I couldn't do it. I put the controller down. Not that it's bad, but I was like, I mentally cannot do this.
Yeah.
It is dragging me to hell
Yeah.
playing this. So as much I give Dark Souls a thumbs up. I beat it already. Maybe that's
it's almost. I feel like for you're like, I've climbed that mountain.
Yes.
I don't want to climb it
I
again.
really feel like I completed high school. I don't want to go back to high school.
That's
like,
interesting.
Fun,
I like Dark Souls 1 a lot better on my second playthrough than I did my first playthrough. I just felt, but I get that. I also used a lot of things to my advantage when I played Dark Souls 1 the second time. I got the key so I could use the back doors to places.
Yeah.
I made it my goal to just min-max. I just pumped all my points into strength, got a giant bat, and did not put any time or energy into anything else. Almost to the detriment, if you don't mind me kind of extrapolating, because I played Dark Souls 3. Yeah. I have played all of Dark Souls 3. I have played all of the first DLC. I haven't touched the game here in a couple weeks. All I have left is the Ring City DLC and the final boss. But other than that, I've beaten the whole game, all the extra bosses. And Dark Souls 3 to me is okay. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's bad. It's a very good game. But I think that I've graduated from it. I really do. I've put so much time into these games.
Yeah.
I have all these weapons, and I've used 2 of them the whole game because it's a giant bat, and I two-hand it, and I put all my points into strength. I've now played 3 Dark Souls games the same exact way.
That's how I did.
I just put all my points into the bat, I double-hand it, upgrade it +10, no armor, roll dodge through everything. And there were a couple bosses that were challenging. There's one guy that flies around on a dragon and stuff, but Dark Souls 3, I cruised through it so fast. I got to the final optional boss in 18 hours. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't even trying to go fast. I just feel like I've cracked the code on what those games are. I get way more enjoyment out of something like Sekiro now.
Yeah.
And so I like Dark Souls 3. I'm going to beat that final boss when I get some time and play that final DLC. But I almost want to take a break because I felt like towards the end of that game, I was like, okay, I got to do this, I got to do this. And I was like, I want to have fun with it. I don't want it to be it feels like my senior year of high school. I still love all the people. I love some of the teachers. I'm happy, but I'm ready to, complete it and say, I've played those Demon Souls, Dark Souls 1, 2, 3. I've done them all. I've beat them all. And you know what? I've soloed every single freaking one of them. I haven't summoned once. And so that's kind of where I wound up. So kind of how you feel about Dark Souls 1 of you've been there, you don't need to do it again. Yeah. I feel like
I just didn't have a drive. I guess maybe it's just coming from Dark Souls 3 too soon. Maybe I need to return.
I think you need to take a break.
I need to take a break.
I think that hurt me because I went right from because you went Sekiro, Dark Souls 3, Dark Souls 1. I think that I would have liked Dark Souls 3 better if I had not jumped straight into it from Sekiro. I kind of regret that.
See, I still liked Dark Souls 3 coming from Sekiro.
Because they're so different.
But Dark Souls 1 was where I hit my limit, and maybe I'll come back in a couple of years. We'll have this conversation again. But for now, I was playing. I was like, I have no desire. This is not fun for me right now. But that can happen sometimes. But
all that being said, I'm looking forward to Elden Ring. Interesting. I keep bringing up Dark Souls things. Dark Souls 1 and Dark Souls 2 and Dark Souls 3, something interesting that I learned. Let me make sure I'm saying this right. So Dark Souls 1 was made by a team, right? And then Dark Souls 2 came out. And then they made Bloodborne, and then they made Dark Souls 3, and then they made Sekiro, and now they're making Elden Ring. Those have been 2 different teams that have been switching off, basically. Mm. And what I found out was, I didn't know this, is that Bloodborne and Sekiro were both made by the same team. Dark Souls 2 and 3 were both made by the same team.
Okay.
And so the Dark Souls 2 and 3 teams are the ones working on Elden Ring.
Okay.
And so if you've played those games, you're aware that Dark Souls 1, Sekiro, and Bloodborne all have more in common with each other. I feel like the Dark Souls 2 and 3, which are more similar to each other. Dark Souls 2 and 3 are a little more casual, friendly. Yeah. Sekiro had some of that, but I feel like Dark Souls 2 made it more like these lines that you go down, and then Dark Souls 3 was kind of like one long path. Yeah. So I'm curious how Elden Ring will be informed by being worked on the Dark Souls 2 and 3 teams as opposed to the Sekiro, Bloodborne. I think I kind of like the Sekiro, Bloodborne, Dark Souls 1 team a little bit better. I don't know. It's just kind of interesting to think about that. I always compare and dissect these different games, but then when you think about it's 2 different teams flipping back and forth, it adds another level to it. So
we'll see.
We'll see.
With all that being said, I'll give the floor to Jacob. What have you been playing?
Nothing. Not a single thing. I haven't played video games in like 3 months. I think I'm like depressed.
You've been playing Dead by Daylight though.
Oh, I guess I have played video games. I'm just kidding. No, so we have picked Dead by Daylight back up. They released the Ghostface Killer.
Nice.
So
Ghostface Killer, isn't that a Curb Your Enthusiasm rapper or something?
Yeah, Scream is now.
That is that
Dead by
rapper,
Daylight.
Ghostface Killer.
He is a god awful killer. I mean,
Who is it?
They can't
Who
release
is
a new Scream.
Scream?
Yeah, it's the Scream.
Oh, he's in Dead by Daylight?
Yeah, they just released him.
Are you
Time to
serious?
jump back in.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he sucks, dude. They cannot release a killer then make it balanced when they first release it.
Ever. I've never felt
Every
like...
time there's a new DLC, everybody's gonna be playing that killer and everybody's gonna good luck winning.
I never enjoyed Dead by Daylight until I just accepted this game is broken, and that's okay. Because games don't have to be balanced. This isn't an esport.
Well, see, that's what makes it like for me. That's my Dark Souls.
I love that it's caught on though, because it seems like the jankiest game on planet Earth.
It is
and
janky.
There's a big audience.
They
ported it to Switch. They're porting it to Switch, I guess.
It keeps growing.
Which I bet that's going to run great.
Oh,
and,
so it looks like 15 frames per second. I'm telling you what it is. It's the Dark Souls of survival. That's what it is. Because it's so stacked in the killer's favor. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And unless you have a good team of survivors who know what they're doing and they're not trying to teabag at pallets the whole time, you can do it. You can win. Me and Alex, literally the other day we were playing and we had this dude who tried getting off the hook right when he got hooked, which is the worst. Because you're like, oh, we just lost a guy. And then he instantly died. So now we have 5 gens left. And we have 3 people. That's like already it's stacked against the odds. And we're playing against the hillbilly.
I'll fight the hillbilly because
you
can juke him.
But anyone with freaking chainsaw is the worst. So we're playing. We're triple teaming gens. We're making our way around, and April ends up dying because we couldn't get to her in time because we're trying to finish gens because we're already behind a person. So then me and Alex do the typical, all right, man, time to nut up or shut up situation. And we end up escaping. So those are the moments where I'm like, I feel really good about this game. But then there's moments where I get tunneled.
Rewarding moments.
Yeah, there's a lot more moments where I end up screaming and saying words I can't say right now. But I like it. I like going back to it. Now that Ghostface is out, it's definitely a challenge because you play against Michael Myers, right?
Yeah.
So Michael Myers has a stalking ability and allows him to put him in tier 3 where he gets to one-shot people and he's like super fast, but it takes forever to get to it. He has a stalking ability that's a lot quicker, and he gets to one-shot people. How's that fair?
It's not.
It's not fair, dude. So,
and I get it because it's 4. Here's the thing.
And he can crouch.
The game is unbalanced, killer to you.
Yes.
Like it is unbalanced individually, but if you don't think of it as I want to escape, but you think of it as how many of us can escape, it's more random, but it's a little more balanced.
We celebrate more.
That's the thing is that you have to accept that we're not all getting out of here. We're lucky if 2 of us get. We have games where we've all escaped, but I mean I could maybe count on 2 hands in 2 years of playing this game. I don't play all the time with you guys. How many times we've all gotten away?
We got out, all 4 of us, one time the other night, and we went nuts.
It's huge, and in that becomes absolutely the best thing in the world because you're like, we just owned this guy.
Yeah.
But you have so many more games where you start the game, you turn a corner, and they're right there.
Yeah, dude,
and
we just started
down a hook, and you're like, I just started, and that's where I start cursing, and I get mad, and so that's kind of the meme every time I get on. I say, guys, I'm not cursing today. I decided I'm good. But
you're right. We celebrate. Like we'll sit there and
it makes everyone. It really is the Dark Souls.
We'll sit there and be like, all right, there's 2 people left. Alex is running around, and April will be on the gen. I'm always the one that dies first now because I end up putting myself out there in the middle. But what would happen is you hear Alex say, I'm looping her. I'm mothering. Yep. And then April's like, I'm almost done with the gen. I'm almost done.
That game could really use a Movement 2.0 update. Yeah. Completely revamp the ergonomics of the running.
That sounds like it's on their to-do list.
Yeah, it just feels so janky. And when you're being chased, there's nothing satisfying about the movement. So you're just kind of like jankily moving this person that just kind of like
so much to do.
Just update the movement so it feels a little more fluid. If it felt a little more fluid and I was getting caught, I'd be like, all right, like I did. But like it's just so janky. You're controlling like basically this tank, and you're just like.
It's amazing that took off, and hats off to them for years.
Oh, they're happy.
The other thing is, and I've always said this about this game: if you develop or at all are associated with Dead by Daylight, please do something. It doesn't make any sense for all the killers to use hooks. Like, a simple thing you could do to vary up the gameplay is, like, make it a little bit of a different thing that they put you in, depending on what the killer is.
Like if you're, like, a pig, you could throw him in a cage?
Yeah, I don't know. Just, like, and it could be function the same, but yeah, like, or if you're the huntress, like, a spike that they stick you on. Or if you're the doctor, a bed they strap you down into. Like, it would be a very simple thing, just palette swap out. Because I always thought the hillbilly, the hook makes sense for the hillbilly, because he's, like, gutting animals and hanging them up, but like the wraith, why does she have a hook? Like, why are all the monsters using the same method to trap people? I just think simple thing to vary up the visuals. Just give each killer a different thing they put people on. You can leave the logic of where they spawn the same. Just, I know you'd have to make unique animations for getting them off of that thing, but
you'd actually have to develop. You know,
I don't know. So movement 2.0 would be cool, and or varying up the the thing.
Well, we love you, Dead by Daylight developers. We also are side-eyeing you.
I just wish you always can do things better. No shame in that.
You can always do something better. That's our tagline.
I do have some funny stories.
We could be better.
I was playing against Ghostface, and I was the last one left, and they made a new update now where. It used to be that if you're the last one left, it was until you escaped.
Does he say, like, what's up?
No, I wish that'd be funny. No, but whenever he stares at you, if you stare back at him, his face changes into that really goofy-looking face.
Oh, gosh.
Because, like, he doesn't like being looked at. That's the whole thing. So if you're being stalked and you look at him, the stalk meter stops.
I'll tell you who they need to get in that game. Pennywise from It.
Oh, that'd be nuts.
That'd be cool.
But, anyways.
Tie it into the new movie.
We were playing...
John Wick.
The new thing happened where the entity, which is what kills you, starts closing in on the map. So you no longer can stay in the map the whole game. So if you're the last one left...
Fortnite in there.
It's pretty much, it's Battle Royale at the end. Where like it starts to close in. If you can't escape within the time limit they give you at the very end, it kills you instantly.
Nice.
Which is so stupid. But they end up giving you the doors halfway through the time limit, which is kind of nice. So I'm looking for the hatch, and I see the killer, and I'm like, the killer's not moving. Ah, dang, he found the hatch. So I'm like, it's one of those catch-22s. You're like, I make a run for it, try to jump in, hope he doesn't grab me, because I have 2 hits, and he hasn't stalked me. So I'm standing there, and next thing you notice, the killer looks at me. And I was like, crap. So I'm like, we're beginning the whole little chase. I'm like running around. Yeah. Next thing you notice, I'm like, why does he stop chasing me? So I make my way to the hatch, and he's standing right on top of it. And the killer now has an option. They can close the hatch on you.
Oh, yeah.
It's just, like they just keep adding things to make it harder to survive.
I watch him close the hatch, and he starts teabagging around the hatch. And I'm like, I hate this game. I hate this game. Like, I hate this game.
Maybe that's part of the fun is how unbalanced it is.
Yeah.
It is my Dark Souls. So, Dead by Daylight is what it is. I always go back to it. Never fails. It's the only game I have plus 150 hours in. The only game. I don't know why. I have dusted off my DS, though. I went back. I don't know. Maybe it's because all the Pokemon hype in my mind.
Yeah.
Went back and beat Alpha Sapphire. I went and caught all the Reggies. Caught Regigigas.
Holy crap.
I caught Deoxys. I have all those like legendaries now. But then I found out that the new Pokemon game isn't getting every single Pokemon.
I heard that, and that's been kind of people raging online.
I sat there and what I said? I was like, you hire more people. You figure it out.
I went to the point where some guy that does 3D modeling did a video or whatever, and he was like, this is a sin against humanity.
It is!
Like, he, let him have it. Like, because people were like, maybe they have a reason. They were like, nope, there's no reason. He came out and said, look how easy this would be, or whatever.
Yeah, honestly, I'm like, I understand you have 9,000 Pokemon now. But you made that choice.
Yeah. Have you seen the other thing that people have said about it? Now, here's the thing. This new one doesn't interest... I'm out of Pokemon. They haven't really changed it to a point where it makes me want... I think they need a Breath of the Wild to bring me in.
Yeah, I was hoping this would be that. It doesn't seem like it will be.
I don't think I'm in with this one. But another thing that I saw that I cracked up was like, okay, I didn't even spot this. But people have been putting a side by side. Have you seen this?
No.
A side by side of the open world, because it's like open world or whatever, or like you can go whatever, and there's Pokemon on the map. So they have like a shot of the tree in the trailer, and then they showed a tree in Ocarina of Time on N64, and it's indistinguishable. You can't spot the difference. And I was like, oh man, not a good look. I was so angry because I sat there. I was like, I just went through and beat Sapphire, and I was like, I can't wait to transfer all these Pokemon to the new Pokemon game and me have like a top tier team automatically.
Oh my gosh!
And they're like, yeah, we're not gonna let every Pokemon be over. Only the ones that are in the regional deck.
Yeah, and then apparently there's not. You can't even get every Pokemon between the games. I was reading too. Like, there's the two Shield and Sword have Pokemon that you can't transfer, apparently.
You can't trade them.
And when I read that, I was like, that's like the other stuff, okay, that's
been a thing always, though, that's why you get both.
But correct me, I could be wrong on that, but when
I read a friend get one game and you get the other one and you just trade Pokemon.
Yeah. I don't know, like, that's
So I was sitting there, I'm like, I need to play Crystal, because I want to get my Johto Pokemon up.
Here's the thing.
So maybe there will be a response. I mean, the response is, if you go on, like, the dislikes on the thing, it's a very negative, so maybe they will shift, maybe they'll shift.
Do you remember the early, mid PS3, 360 era when Japanese companies were like trying to acclimate to 3D, like HD design? So same thing's happening. They're just on delay. Pokemon, what's their name? Game Freak. They have they've never made a game.
They made Let's Go.
No, they didn't make that. That was made by Niantic, and also they have never made a fully 3D modeled open world game. They've never done it, and so this was never going to be what everybody was hoping it would be.
But then people start comparing what this looked like on the open world to Dragon Quest XI on the S version on Switch and Xenoblade Chronicles 2. And showing those open worlds, it's like...
Well, once again, they have never done it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's 2019 or this and that's available. This team has been making crappy-looking games on 3DSs and DSs, and that's all they've ever done.
So, I don't know what to say. It's a hard
Nintendo
pass.
better be looking at them saying, what do you need? This cannot fail.
Well, they got the Xenoblade people to go and help with Breath of the Wild, so maybe it's because they're both kind of second party. Why don't they get those guys to go help Pokemon out?
Maybe they will.
Hey, Nintendo better see it. I'm telling you right now, because this is...
Yeah, it's a hard pass for me on this gen, and I'll come back. I always was someone that would always do every other Pokemon game, but this one I think I'm just going to...
So you played Ultra Sun or Ultra Moon?
I skipped that.
I'm
skipping 2 gens. I don't know.
I've been out since Ruby Sapphire and Leaf Green. Those were the last two I played.
Sun and Moon as well.
Once they started making Pokemon like trash cans and stuff, I just didn't.
That's the best part.
When they made the freaking
Executor,
Executor,
the one that's like the Hawaiian version.
Yeah,
Aloha.
I'm out.
Yeah, they definitely have reaching for straws. I sat there and said
they need a almost God of War reboot or a Breath of the Wild.
But the problem is, I had a really in-depth conversation. My brother is maybe the biggest Pokemon fan I know. He loves Pokemon. He gets super deep in like the EV and like the IV, whatever they're called, and the stats. I ignored stats when I played Pokemon.
You can't do that anymore.
He gets so deep into it, and I started just floating out the idea. Breath of the Wild was newer, and I was like, "Yeah, I love Breath of the Wild." I was like, "I want a Breath of the Wild of Pokemon." He's like, "What do you mean?" And I kind of explained just get rid of the battle system, start over. My brother is a pretty chill guy. He got absolutely upset with me. He was so upset because these people are freaking out because you might not be able to carry Pokemon forward. These fanboys love the battle system. It is built up a meta. It is the backbone of the hardcore audience. It would be revolt in the streets. They would lose their fan. It's not like Zelda, where Zelda, nobody cares if you mix up the open world or whatever. Nobody. If you mix up the combat a little bit, nobody cares.
There's a reason they did the things they did.
I'm telling you right now, I'm with you. I told him, I was like, it could be like Ni no Kuni. It would be cool. They are not having it. They are not having it. You will lose the people you have.
But you know what? Your brother will end up buying whatever they put out as the next.
Possibly.
They will come along.
Well, my point to him is they've made 20 of the old one. You have it.
Jacob bought the new Breath of the Wild. He didn't like the temple system. He'll be along for the ride.
I will. The next one I will be.
I'm a fan of taking a risk, but at the same time,
make him mad.
I'm cool with taking risks at the same time. If they're going to sit there and say, we're not going to, slaughter the golden calf. I mean, this thing, we sell 2 of the same game every 18 months and they sell 1 billion copies. Like, I get it.
I understand where you're coming from. I get it.
I'm not coming from there. My brother was, and I'm just saying,
I'm saying, what you're saying, like, make it like Nino Cooney.
Oh, you get what I'm saying about it.
I do. I understand.
But you wouldn't be for that. It's just Gen Z guys. They're not for it.
I'm a millennial, homie. 95.
You're riding the fence, bucko.
Oh, whatever. Kiss
but this
butt.
might kick you over the other side here.
So, but I think my point and what I'm trying to get to is
they have such a good world.
He's Gen Z splaining.
They have such a good world, all right? But the world is all separated. What they need to do, this was their chance to really drive it home.
Yeah.
Hey, we're going to make a Switch game, and we're going to take every region and smack it together and make it an RPG. You get to choose what region you start in, and you get to travel to all these other regions. They could have blown this game up.
They can't figure out the trees.
They should have their young devs play Red Dead, and then we'll have like crazy sex scenes and Pokemon.
They need to play freaking.
But you know what? Did you guys play Crystal growing up? Pokemon Crystal.
Yeah, I like Crystal. Yeah.
Crystal's my favorite. You know what's my favorite?
Yeah,
play the Johto region,
Crystal was my favorite too.
And then jump into, and I sat there. I remember when I was a kid, and I was like, "Wait a minute, I'm back in Kansas. I'm in Kansas."
Hats off to you.
If I were to replay any Pokemon game right now, it would be that Silver Gold Crystal. That is the best one. That is the best one.
But you know how that one to me was like my childhood blown. I was like, they put a game in another game.
Yeah.
Why can they not do it now?
Because Iwata, man, he was the reason they did that. But
it sounds like we need a back from the grave.
Iwata worked 100 hours a week to give us that, though. You ever watch that? He worked extra hours.
Nintendo doesn't work as hard anymore. That's what it is. The Game Freak, they're just like, nah.
I think 100 hours might need to be in the.
Sounds like we need to call a lawyer.
In the
words. All right, but there's also another game. Again, my 3DS has been glued to my hands this month. And I've been playing Majora's Mask again. And this is my 3rd playthrough in Legends of Majora's Mask because it's a good Zelda game. They know what they're doing. Right?
It's
right there.
You can see a little bit of it here.
I got one right there too.
Yeah, I've got another thing up here.
Majora's Mask is the best Zelda DLC. The best Zelda DLC.
Majora's Mask is my favorite. So
expansion pack.
So have you played the 3DS version?
Yeah, so I played the N64 version. When I first played it, I played it completely blind as a kid. I didn't really know what I was doing, but I did beat it.
Yeah.
I remember beating it.
It's a hard game to beat blind.
It is.
I had a hard time with it when I was
It's very difficult. It's very, I didn't even know, you would reverse time back then and all that stuff.
I got stuck when you're the Goron trying to roll up the mountain and they're blowing wind at you.
Some hard parts, yeah.
I could not.
But then the second time I played through it, I played on the 3DS version when it first came out with the Special Edition 3DS. And I was like, man, this is so awesome. Yeah. But then I sat there and I was like, I really overcomplicated this as a kid.
Well, as a kid, you just don't think some things are
But then I played through it, I beat it the smart man way. I didn't put 50 hours into it, I put 20.
Uh-huh.
So now I'm playing through it and I'm doing the completion method. Where I'm going to go through and I'm going to collect everything.
Yeah. Couples mask.
Yes. Frick you. Alright. So I'm 8 masks deep. I'm only past the first boss, which for me is a big deal. So there might be 2 masks deep. Yeah. And they're 2 of the mainline masks. They weren't any of the other ones. And I cannot believe I played the game without the bunny hood. I just got the bunny hood. And I was
the bunny hood is
why in the world did I not do this earlier, dude? Way earlier. So I'm going to go through, I'm going to get the Fierce Deity Link mask, which I've never gotten before. I'm really excited.
I've never beaten the boss of the Fierce Deity.
Really?
Yeah, the final boss.
That's what I want to do. That's why I'm playing through it again. I was like, I want to do this. And because of this, because I'm playing this, I'm like, I want to play Wind Waker. I'm getting a hankering. I want to go back and play Wind Waker again.
Cool.
So, Zelda, back when it was done right, I'm playing them again. And
back when it was done right, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I've been playing. You guys?
Were you gonna say something?
I can tell you what Travis has been playing. I hear it every night.
So I have been playing. So for a while,
tell the people your sins.
So I was playing Dark Souls 3, and then I kind of got to the end of that, and then I was kind of feeling burned out. So I have had a really crazy last few weeks of my life, just a lot going on, and so be getting home late and just trying to keep up with different stuff. But I have a buddy who loves these kind of live service games. He always loved Warframe. He played Borderlands, but he had never tried Destiny. And
here it comes again.
So I was always telling him, hey, if you ever want to check it out, let me know. So right before E3, Bungie released like a Vidoc. Like if you ever watched like back in the Halo days when they released those kind of like 15-minute like mini documentaries about like studio stuff and what they're working on and stuff. Well, they released a Vidoc for Destiny, and around that Vidoc, they made some massive announcements. Like to me, this was maybe my favorite thing that happened relative to E3, even though it happened a couple of days before E3. And so basically what they revealed, and if you're into Destiny, you know this. If you're not, I'll tell you. They revealed some crazy stuff that they're doing. So number one, Destiny 2 has been out now for 2 years. There's been 3 expansions. And the game has been getting a lot better. There's a lot of content, which I'll get to in a second. But what they basically announced is we knew already that they were leaving Activision, but we didn't know what that exactly meant for the game. And so this Vidoc started to talk about what that meant. And so first off, the first thing they're doing is they basically big dicked Sony and said, we're not giving you any more exclusive content. And Sony basically couldn't do anything about it. So they got out. So Sony no longer gets exclusive missions. They don't get exclusive guns. They're on their own, right? The next thing they did is Activision and them said, you're off Blizzard app. You can't be on here anymore. We don't own you and you're not with. So they partnered with Valve and they said, we're putting the game on Steam. The third thing they announced is they have always had an issue with the game of if somebody wants to get into playing it, the bar for what they need to spend money-wise to get into it just raises and raises because they're always putting out these expansions. So you got to buy the game and this expansion, this expansion. So what they announced is that starting this September, the game and all year one expansions, which there are like 2 or 3, are free. Like 1,000% free. You can download them on any console or any PC. It is yours. They are free. And apart from that, all multiplayer maps, activities, strikes, raids, all activities, of which I'll get into in a minute, there are a lot, are also free. Yeah. The only thing going forward that you have to buy if you want to buy it is the a la carte campaigns. So they released one last year called Forsaken. They're releasing one this year, which I'll talk about in a second, called Shadowkeep. You can buy those. They're going to be like $20 or $30 when they release, and that's it. Other than that, the game is now free. They announced cross-save, which means I can now have an account on my PC. I can have that account synced to my PS4, to my Xbox. I can jump between accounts. I can play anywhere with anybody. So they announced all this stuff. And then they started announcing with the Shadowkeep expansion, they're bringing back Destiny 1 areas. So they're starting with the moon and they're bringing it into the modern day in the world. And they're updating it all. And they're basically starting to rebuild the game. Like the big criticism of Destiny 2 was always like, why did they start over? Like they didn't let you have any of the guns. They took away all the areas people loved and they started over and they made it more simple. So they're starting to bring that stuff back. So anyway, I showed my buddy Sam, this is a long story, but I showed my buddy Sam the video and he was like, okay, I want to play this. So he already had a free trial version. So I hopped in with a new character because there's 3 classes. I started with one I hadn't leveled up yet. He started with obviously a new character, and we, in the course of 2 weeks, played through the base campaign. We played through the first 2 expansions. We played through a ton of the side content. We put in like 50 hours.
I love how this channel talks so much crap about Destiny, yet at the same time plays so much Destiny.
So we put in like 50 hours, and then the game is going free to play in the fall, but we were itching to play that expansion that came out last year, so we both spent the money and bought the expansion, and it came with the expansion. It came with 3 years with 3 seasons of past content, and all I can say is that I freaking love where this game is. We've talked about, me and you put a lot of time into the year one stuff. The year one stuff is like, the story is just really kind of like comic book jokey and stupid and forgettable. I've always really liked the Destiny lore and felt like the games don't do a good enough job of presenting that. This Forsaken expansion is fantastic. The campaign is legitimately the closest to a Halo campaign it's ever been. It is dark. It's not really funny. It's kind of brutal. Like, people just get kind of like murdered and stuff. Spoiler alert.
There's a funny guy gone.
They murder him. Like, as soon as the expansion opens, he gets like a revolver shoved in his mouth and his head is blown off. Like they just.
I liked him.
And but then it's not just.
He comes back, right?
No, he doesn't come back. But like they use killing him is a way to explore deeper into his past, and you go places and you get things. He still has a presence in the story, even though it's not. But
I play hologram jokes of him.
Have they shot the cube yet?
What cube?
Your ghost.
The freaking.
Your ghost.
No, the little guy from Game of Thrones.
That's your ghost.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Game of Thrones guy hasn't been in it since Destiny 1.
Okay.
They patched him out a long time ago.
Yeah.
Nolan North voices the ghost now.
Okay.
But
so they did.
My basic perspective on Destiny is it is fantastic. I'm having an excellent time. The game, it has so much content. It has an ungodly amount of content.
I want to show this to 2014.
I have been playing it with the little bit of time I can every day, an hour or two, late at night sometimes because I'm getting home late and I'm really busy with stuff. But I am playing it, and I've put in so much time. I've completed so many quests. And then I pulled up an infographic today because I was like, I wonder, I think there's another area we haven't seen. And it was like, I've maybe done 30% of what's even available right now. I haven't done, there's 4 freaking raids. There's 2 half raids. There's 6 different activity types I'd never heard of. When I first played Destiny 2, it was like there's multiplayer and there's single player, and single player has these 2 options, and now it's like a million things. And there's these quests that they give you that reward you with very unique guns, and they're multi-step, and they've got unique story. No, they're very different. They have completely different mechanics, but
I'm so burnt out on that game.
All I can say is I'm having a great time with it, and it is fantastic. It is the best that game's ever been.
The fact that you and I actually have another friend that's interested, and we have another friend that's interested, makes me about 25% interested, which is better than being at 0.
Sure.
I don't know what it is.
Destiny confirmed good.
It's very good. It's in the best place.
Well, the fact that they're going
We've went from a down on Microsoft and a down on Destiny podcast or channel to
I was never really down on Destiny.
We are pro Microsoft. We're pro Destiny.
I think the coolest thing they're doing is they're releasing all that content for free. Because they're giving themselves a chance to rebuild.
The game is in such a healthy place. Even before it's free, there's a lot of people, new people playing the game and stuff. And so everybody plays it for different reasons, right? And I think that's why people struggle with it. Is it's not like your kind of game where it's just there's a campaign and you just play it and then it's over. It's a game that it encourages you to stick with it and keep playing it. So they added something
I would
that
more now.
They had something. Yeah. Oh, for sure. You played year 1 Destiny vanilla with this. You would be shocked.
The gameplay was amazing.
You would be.
The gameplay was incredible.
When it goes free to play, you should check it out. You would be shocked how fleshed out it is. They added a collections tab. And so you know how you would get these guns and then you would put them in your vault or dismantle them or whatever. Now when you get a gun, any type of gun, you open up your collections tab and it shows all the different styles of guns. You can look at all the guns that are in the game, and when you get them, it colors it in, and you can dismantle it or recraft it later.
So I can bring it back from.
So you can bring it back later, but you can also see all the guns you don't have. If you click on the gun, it will tell you go run these missions or go do this or go do that.
Okay, now that right there.
So you can collect.
He's hit 50 or
75. I am about 50%. Because I ain't gonna lie, that game is a mother effing grind, and it pisses me off, dude.
And I think the grind is in a really. I don't feel like I'm grinding. I've literally done different things every time I played it. I put in almost 100 hours.
I would
and
effing
so
do
much
a raid just to get a certain armor set, and I'd have to do the raid 7 or 8 times. And I'm like, I don't want to talk to these people anymore. I just want to run the freaking raid.
Yeah. But anyway, so they have a collections tab. There's an in-game achievements thing. There is so much. I am inundated. When I open up the game, it's imagine there's 7 or 10 different modes you can go do. I've got quests that all align with him, and so then I'll pick up some bounties and it'll be get arc kills, which is a type of energy, and then I have a long-term quest that's get 1,500 grenade launcher kills, and then I have some other ones that are get. So I'm I found a bounty that's get 10 grenade launcher kills for a short-term reward, and I've got this longer-term one, and I got this things to go do strike. So it's I've got these maybe 35 different overall quests. Some are long-term, some are short-term. Yeah. And I'm playing new story content, playing new things. I'm leveling up my character, and it's okay, if I equip this and this and this at the same time, I can make progress on all 4 of these different things. And then every day I'm getting a new gun of some kind that has a unique. I got a shotgun that's an exotic shotgun that basically is the gun from Portal. So it doesn't shoot bullets, it shoots air, and it just evaporates people. It's amazing, and you're running around. They added bow and arrows into the game. They added So all that being said, I'm loving the game. It is in a fantastic place, and I really am having fun with it.
The fact they added collections and I can recraft, I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah,
that makes me a lot happier.
It has something something for everybody. If you like PvP, the PvP is in a great place. If you like running story stuff, that's in a great place. If you like raids, that's in a great place. If you like Gambit, which is like an asynchronous, like 2 teams are trying to collect these things to spawn a boss, and the first one to spawn their boss and kill their boss wins. So both teams are doing that in separate places, and then you can go and invade Dark Souls style and try to stop the team from killing their boss also. Like, that is a mode that is like this asynchronous multiplayer environment mode.
I like the PvP. The PvP we play.
Oh, yeah, it's a blast.
I get really into it, and like I started to get really, really good at it too.
Yeah.
That's the best part about it.
So the other thing, ultimately the realization I've had is that it's got something for everybody, depending on what you like or don't like. If you like collecting, if you just like playing through story stuff, there's something for everybody. But Destiny is a racing game. That is what it is. Destiny is a racing game, but you don't have cars, you have guns. Like, no one complains about a racing game of like, oh, the story was stupid. You know what I mean? Like, nobody complained. Like, it feels good to drive the cars. You want to race. You want to get all the cars unlocked. Yeah. You want to trick out your cars. You want to do stuff. That is what Destiny is. It is basically that, but with guns and energy and space magic.
Come for the gameplay, not the story.
Yeah, but even then, the lore is in a great place, and they've really figured out the right tone of, like, Destiny 1, it was just all dark and mysterious with no substance. Destiny 2, they had a story, but it was all jokey and goofy and dumb, and now they found a really good third thing, which is like, it's kind of like Star Wars almost a little bit, a little more serious. The new expansion is like zombies on the moon. It looks crazy, so I don't know.
Cool. I'm glad.
It's in a good place, but
that's awesome.
That's what I've been playing.
Cool.
Zach, what have you been
When
up
it goes
to?
free, you should check it out. You'd probably be shocked.
I will be shocked. I will be ashamed of my actions and deeds. Yakuza 6.
Yakuza.
The final in the series, with this character at least. I'm having a good time. It's just like the other Yakuza games, and the graphics are good. I will say this one, because this is like, it's almost kind of like the Metal Gear Solid 4 of this, in that like this character is aged a lot. A lot of stuff has happened. There is a really good recap because there's 5 games before this, so they do a great job of
Plus 0
of like, hey, here's all this, here's what happened here, and you get, it's basically like a slideshow. You like click through and it shows words like, you met this character, or this happened, or whatever. So I had to go through that again because I watched all this. There's so much, story, and I love the story in these games. Well, in this one, there's a character that since the beginning, this girl that you like helped, that you like saved or whatever, and now she's grown up. She became like this pop idol or whatever. Not to go too much into spoiler stuff, but she had a kid. That's where this game starts, is you find out she had a kid or whatever. And you basically take care of this kid for a little bit. So there's parts when you're running around trying to get information. In the beginning of the game, some stuff's happened or whatever. So you're in charge of this kid, taking care of this kid. So I'm running around the streets with this kid, and one of the things I was in was you have to find milk. The kid won't stop crying. So I'm running around the city, and it pops up. It's like, it says something like baby alert or baby mission. It stops you in the tracks, and it's crying so much you have to stop it from crying. So there's a meter that pops up. This game is known for goofy mini games. Like there's dancing mini games, there's mini games. There is like, it stops you in your tracks. A meter comes up with like a crying emoji icon and then like a happy.
Oh my god!
And you have to move the PlayStation controller to chill this kid out.
Oh my god!
Or like go up and down, or like pat its head or whatever, rub its head or whatever, and like you have to figure out. It doesn't tell you.
That's hilarious.
You just have to do these different things. There's 5 different things, and if you do the wrong thing, it goes and it's like, oh no, like baby's still upset or whatever. That just had me dying. It reminds me of Shenmue in that way, of just doing these really stupid things. But the story's really fun. I'm really, involved with, like, the world is like, it just keeps expanding. You're going to different places and stuff, and I had a really good time with it. I'm about 5 chapters in. I think there's 12, and I really like that series. It makes me more excited for the next game from that developer. Judgment just came out a couple days ago. On the PS4. So
they get Cocaine Man out of it?
They got Cocaine Man out of it, which we talked about on another podcast. But they definitely got me for life, I guess. I'll just keep coming back.
I bought Kiwami because I was like, it's a remake of 1. I should be able to play that first. But everybody says, don't play that first. Play
Don't
0
listen to
first.
them. Play...
Everybody. It's universal. They all say, play 0 first. It's supposed to be first.
I loved Kiwami so much.
You played it first, right? So I should ignore them and just play Kiwami.
Yes, play Kiwami, then I played 0, and then now I'm playing 6.
I just
watched
Kiwami's a remake of 1, right?
Yes.
And it assumes it's your first game,
Yeah.
right? So why do people say play 0
Don't
first?
listen to them.
Okay.
Do not listen to that. Kiwami 1, because Kiwami 2
Because I
just
own
came out.
Kiwami. I could start it tonight. I could start it any
Yeah.
freaking time.
I think people are almost universal that I think 4 is kind of... And even watching people talk about 4, it's like, whoa, they did some really cool stuff with 4, like changing characters, and like each character has a really cool storyline, and stuff kind of melts together towards the end. But I've liked 1, 0, and 6 now I'm playing. I just watched the cutscenes and just caught up on the story. I think I will play Kiwami 2 at some point, because that's a remake of 2, and they're going to... they already said 3, 4, and 5 are going to come, like they're just porting those to PS4.
Yep.
Remastering those. They're not doing a Kiwami version, but... yeah, I'm at a great time, and I'm looking forward to playing Judgment next.
Yeah.
Next up, CTR, Crash Team Racing Nitro Field. So they remade yet another 3D mascot era PS1 game, and they have not failed yet. This game is just like I remember it. What is interesting, when you first started up, when you started the game on the PS1, you had to choose like your character, and that's who you had the full like playthrough. So I would just choose Crash. What I like in this one is they kept everything the same, but they gave you a choice. They said, do you want updated version or do you want the classic one? The classic
That's
mode,
cool.
you can't change characters. We keep it the same as the PS1 restrictive, but in the new mode you can change characters anytime.
That's the right way to do that.
And we've added like carts, and you can update carts with stickers
That's cool.
and wheels, and they added all these customization to what like Mario Kart is doing now. They added all that new stuff that wasn't in the original. I'm having a great time with it.
Did you go classic or upgraded?
I did the upgraded because I was like, I've played the original and I can always play it.
Yeah.
The classic if I wanted to. But so I'm always playing as Crash right now. Himself, the star of the show. I want to do a hangout on it because it is multiplayer. And I like this more than Mario Kart because with Mario Kart, the original CTR did not have rubber banding AI. For those that don't know what that is, that's if you are better than the AI, they will get to speed up, or they'll get
magic to just bring themselves up.
Bring themselves up, and it is not fun.
They're always on your butt no matter how good you play.
It turns into, even when you're playing multiplayer in Mario Kart, there's certain items that people will get and blue shells that will knock you out. That's just, it's fun for a party game, but it's not fun for like
single player. I bought Mario Kart 8 because everybody just freaking loses their mind for that game, and I bought it and I was like, I want to get 3 stars or whatever it is on every track on every speed, and I got up to 150. And I stopped playing it, and I decided I'm done. And the reason why was because I was getting to some of those like mid-tier levels on that, and I would have a huge lead on everybody.
For the first 2 laps.
But the problem is they always get the blue every race. They always get the blue shell. They will always hit you with it, and you do not have any recourse. The only option you have is if you somehow get a mushroom, you can then speed through it, but it's so rare to get a mushroom in first place. To where I actually started driving off the track when it was coming because the respawn time coming off the track and back on is faster than the blue shell just straight up hitting. And to me, that is awful. If every race, when I'm playing a single player game and I'm trying to set record speeds and I'm trying to beat the AI, if I have to run off the track every race to exploit that's not fun, that's bad design. I stopped playing it, and I have not played Mario Kart ever since. It's got great feel. It's got great tracks. I love everything about it. Multiplayer, I kind of get it because, it's more of a party game.
It's more of a party game.
But the blue shell's a problem in Mario Kart. It's just flat out a problem. They should give you some kind of an ability to counter it. What?
It's the music box.
You don't always get it though in first place. You have to drop back into third and then get. It's bad design.
You have to manipulate it.
And you'll like.
That's bad design. I think it's bad design.
I think you would like CTR because not only do they not have rubber banding, which makes for 2 things. When you play, what sucked about playing Mario Kart single player, trying to do through the adventure mode or whatever, the tournaments. Here's what stunk with that: you'd go 2 laps in and things would you get blue shell, and it's like, I wasted time. That this happened, you know what I mean? I put the time, and I did really good, and then that happened. Now it's just the luck of the draw. Crash, if you fall behind, you could get big, like, you could overlap people. So if I mess up, I was messing up 2 laps in, but my skill would bring me up, and there was a fair way for me to get up. There still is the luck of the draw with the items.
Yeah.
But it's no blue shell stuff. It's never to that extreme level. And there's TNT that you can drop. It's like a banana peel.
Yeah.
And you leave it on the track. Or it's kind of like, I think Mario Kart has that where you leave like a fake box.
What Mario Kart should have...
So TNT, you can leave that on the on the track. If you hit that, it attaches to you and it starts doing the thing. If you hop, there's a hop button.
Yep.
If you hop enough, it will fall off of you.
What I was going to say, Mario Kart 8, this is what they should do. I get it. They want the blue shell to take out first place. What the skill check, there should be a skill check that's not item relevant. The skill check should be, you can drift in Mario Kart 8. You can drift into orange, and then it becomes blue, and then it becomes purple. The skill check should be, if the blue shell is coming to you and you recognize that, you should get into a drift position and get it to purple and release the purple the same time you would release the mushroom. And if you can do that, that's a high skill maneuver. If you can do that while maneuvering the track and you get out of the blue, then I think that would be a high skill check that you would have to really learn how to do. But then if you could do that, that should justify you not getting blue shell.
My argument, though, is like you can go back and play Mario Kart Wii. That's what I'm telling you.
Why would I go back and play 2005 game when we're talking about it?
That's exactly what you were talking about.
Okay.
You want something that's like that rewards a skill. And back then they used to give people who played everyone played bikes.
So why do I have to go back and play it? It's 2019. It's out on Switch. Why would they?
I'm just talking out loud.
Yeah.
Now. Was like you can wheelie and all that stuff, and you get speed boost, and then you could drift out of.
There was ways to get it to avoid.
So why'd they stop that? Because everybody jacks off to Mario Kart 8 and says it's the best kart racer in the world, and I think it's got a brutally broken issue.
Mario Kart
and
Wii is the best Mario Kart.
I would return. I would go back in time and not buy Mario Kart 8 because I'm checked. Like my ability to enjoy the game is checked.
I like the DS version. I think the best. Mario Kart DS or whatever, because that had like you could snake the whole way through, and that became a meta game in that of like
they need to patch that blue shell with some kind of a skill check. Because if I get hit by the blue shell because I don't drift it right or I don't
make the blue shell like unavoidable, still you can still keep it, but make it like a 5% rate of getting it. Like make it very rare to where it's like if someone gets it, it's a major like, oh my gosh, because that would be fun in a party thing of like they got the freaking blue shell, like there's a chance now, and it's like it's so rare though when it happens, it's an ungodly like thing. But CTR is so freaking fun, and you can overlap and all that stuff, but having a good time with it, and I think they nailed it, and I'm having fun. Pretty difficult in certain times, and it's really hard to get some of the time things, but. There's like time trials you can do where it's just you alone on track, and it's kind of like in the Crash remake or in the regular games where you get the time trials and you have to hit the crates. There's that and you have to like time like, okay, in this lap do I get this one or over here? So I'm having a really fun time with it. It's just like when I was a kid, but that's been fun. But you know, we love games so much we made a gosh darn show about it.
We did.
And we just put out Dweebs episode 4. Yeah. Arnold. And this one was each one has had its own theme. It's had, its own, purpose. And this one was about creation. It was about creators and the artistic ambition of creators and just games in general, related to that. But this one was fun because we had Undertale was kind of our music stuff.
Yeah, both songs from the episode were from Undertale.
I think Undertale is such an amazing soundtrack.
It is.
And I wanted to kind of highlight that, and what better than this, and we're talking about indie games. And so that was a big theme too. Was
the theme really flows throughout everything in this episode.
Yeah, and so that was one of the most fun days.
We had a blast making this episode.
That.
Yeah,
and I do want to, and I'll probably put in the behind the scenes later, the moment when this all kind of gets realized. But we were just kind of bouncing ideals when you kind of like get up off the bed, and it's like if you haven't seen it yet, I'll put the link or whatever. But spoiler alert for the episode.
At the end of the episode,
the end of the episode, you kind of like Arnold gets like psyched, like, oh shoot, I can do this, I can finish this or whatever. I really wanted to show like the ambition of creators and stuff of like you can keep going on. But I was like, I wanted to go cartoony with like 2 keyboards, like you're typing on 2 keyboards and stuff. So Travis goes into Jacob's room to get the other keyboard, and Jacob, I don't know what made you say this. Maybe you can illuminate on this, but you were like, "Are you looking for my saxophone? You want a saxophone?"
Well, I was so confused because he opened my closet because he knew I had another keyboard lying around, and I'm sitting there like, the only thing that's in my closet is my saxophone. And I was like, "Do you need the saxophone, bud?" and I as soon as I said that, it was like.
Yeah. Well, Travis comes back in the room and says that, and it's like
we're filming a music video. If you haven't seen the episode, you should watch it. But we're filming like a rock music video, and he says that when I'm going to grab stuff. Do you want a saxophone? I'm like, we're filming a rock video. I was like, yeah, dude, grab the saxophone.
I was like, bring him in. Like, we'll fit it in.
So we filmed that little insert of him coming in and playing the sax.
So behind the scenes when he first is just testing it out to see if it'll work or whatever, and he comes in the door and it's like, oh god, like that was the most fun. I was smiling ear to ear editing that music video because making Alex's head big and like just all these little goofy touches to it. And
I was really impressed how you guys were able to shoot that. Like it just looks so good and it feels so good. And I got that really like when you said like he got up from the bed and you felt the ambition. Yeah. And I'm like, this is pure cartoony ambition.
Yeah, I'm glad you did because I wanted to show like the lowest of the low of like, because that can happen sometimes when you're in a creator mood of like, this sucks, like maybe I shouldn't do it.
When you're making things, whatever it is, whether it's a video or music or like you work on, like you make speeches, like whatever it is that you're making, you go through the full range of I am the worst in the world at this and I am not equipped to do it to, maybe we're getting there to the euphoria of, oh my God, I'm doing this. Like, I'm so proud of this. And then every time you show it to somebody, you go through that cycle of, are they going to reject this? Are they going to love it? Do I care? You don't care. You care too much. And so I thought what I loved about this episode and that character is you're getting some of their backstory. You're seeing like the solitude of working on something and being somber about it, and then the fear of rejection, and then the euphoria when you get positive feedback. And I thought that you captured that really well, and we got to capture. I mean, I got to play the character, and it was really cool.
Yeah, I was really, really happy with the episode, and then I actually filmed other skits. I don't even know if I would put it out because I wasn't happy with the skit I had filmed. It was an idea that I filmed, and it didn't feel right. It didn't feel like, it's not funny. It doesn't really add to it. So I went through 2 different variations of that, maybe 3, and then I came up with the ideal for, and we've talked about it on the channel before, of
you talking about the lawyer skit?
Yeah.
Oh my God, the lawyer skit.
That's actually in there is Jay Sweater. Maybe a play on words of somebody in the industry, but there's been a lot of talk about that in the industry and,
people working too many hours.
People working too many hours,
and I do want to say we're not. You're very pro-union.
On the union side,
we're not people who like want people to be locked in cages, and like some of the stuff that came out like the other day about playtesters being treated like second-class citizens in studios versus. I think that's messed up. I think if you're a company, you need to treat the people of your company. You need to be one team. So like we're not like throw the baby out with the bathwater. Screw people that are working. But
I was more on the side. And it's hard to strike a balance on that. And I just went for it. I just said this is making me laugh.
Some of the narrative's getting a little ridiculous. Like it's going to take a little more than 40 hours a week to make some of these things.
And that was on one side. That was one thing I was wanting to push, and that's where it gets to the extreme of the Declaration of Independence.
Can you wrap it up? We got the clock out.
I wanted to get to the extreme. Like, come on, like you worked so many hours. And I wanted to show, as much as pro-union I am, to make the freaking Dweebs itself has sucked my soul.
Yeah.
It has destroyed me mentally.
Yeah, so much time.
And we have each, in our own way, I'm the one editing, doing a lot of the work, but you have been such,
all the music and the coordinating and the recording and acting in it,
like your energy has been sucked dry. Of like everybody at some point has given a lot to this project. You've really sacrificed, in differing levels, differing times, whatever. And I wanted to show in that of like, if you want to make something great as a creator or whatever, you're going to have to sacrifice.
Yeah.
That might be 100 an hour. Now, there should be things in place, of course. That's why I'm pro-union or whatever. There should be stuff, whatever. Sometimes sacrifice is due to make something like Red Dead Redemption stuff. What an ungodly product and whatever. But time had to be sacrificed in that. And I even liked in the new, and I pulled footage from it, the new God of War documentary. They were very raw in that, and they even, at a point in that, I don't know if you got to see it.
I've not seen that.
There's a part in that thing where they ask, there's these two women that worked on it, I forget the name or whatever, but they were like head people on the project, and they asked like, you know, did you have to, like, how was your family life, or I forgot what the question was, and the one girl kind of laughs. It's like, yeah, it was pretty difficult, blah, blah. It did change during this time, like, when we were developing it. And the lady goes, like, real serious, like, take a second, like, I don't want to answer that at this time or whatever. Like, real serious, and they let that play. And it's like, there's a human sacrifice level. And of course, I'm pro-union, there's that level to it. But to make something amazing, to make something artistic, it's different than like
the disciplines that go into it and the time that goes into it.
Yeah.
No one's making a movie 40 hours a week. They're moving to where they're filming the movie. And the crew is on set for 12 hours a day. And
it's hard work. That new Game of Thrones was 50 nights. 55 nights.
Probably in a row,
in negative 14-degree weather to make the most amazing television you've ever seen. But someone had to freaking, there had to be a price had to be paid.
So, that's kind of, we try to walk that tightrope of you're really pro-union. I'm not pro-union, but like there's a balance, and right now there's a lot of spotlight, and it's probably overdue being shown on, look at these companies, these guys getting a $15 million bonus while their people are working 100 hours a week. I think that it's good to shine a light on that. But inside of some of that, it's almost like people saying like, you shouldn't have to work more than 40 hours a week. And it's like, I don't know how, like, that's kind of what you sign up for in a creative industry. Yeah. To some extent.
I think the industry is fricked up and there's some changes that need to be made. But at the same time, if you're signing up in a fricked up industry, maybe things will be fricked up. Like, some of these things are like, you know what you're getting into to a point. Not that things can't be fixed, but it's like, it's there. But yeah, so that skip was that made me laugh.
But then what I thought you did a good job of showing is highlighting the people that, even though they put in those hours, and some of them go through awful horror stories and stuff, some of them not so much. That lady on God of War clearly was having a hard time, like, you know. But I thought the episode did a great job at the end of showing like, but why are they doing that? And you really use Iwata as kind of like an example of that, of like, they're doing the most amazing thing. Like, they're doing some of the most creative work in the world. Yeah. Like, they are creating the rules of a brand new artistic medium.
Yeah, I want to make sure with that stuff, I
like,
want to balance it like the last
movies are movies. They're pretty well established what they are. Games are still kind of the Wild West. Yeah. And these people are heroes. Like, they are still figuring out what can a video game be. And
as I was even making the
they deserve to be praised for that.
Meta talk, as I was even making the episode and working like really hard, because I got booked up with work, and I was down to the wire even on us, like, getting this done or whatever, and editing it. And as I went along, like, I loved having, I was talking with Brian. He's the one that played young Arnold's dad, played Arnold's dad in the thing. But I was telling him that it's what's been some of the most fun in all of these episodes is I have a library in my head of videos. Some videos, you know, involving video games and not, but in my head I have this archive of things that make me laugh that have happened in the game industry. So to pull those things out, like the Phil Fish, I just loved the lead up of like, I was so proud. Like, there's a language barrier and just like, but he is so genuine and he's like loving games, and then he's just shat on like immediately, and I was just like, I love those moments and tying those into stuff. So that's been so fun in an editing sense of like how does this work together and fitting these puzzle pieces, and like even getting the freaking shot from Curiosity, Peter Monalou in there. Yeah. I just
I love how you were like, this has been an experiment.
Tying that into like Dweebs and stuff. It was kind of meta commentary on Dweebs. It's like, this was an experiment. We're just figuring this out. But that was fun. And then as I got towards the end, I was like, how am I going to wrap this up? And I was like, I gotta show Iwata. I was just like, when I think of game development and like current, how we got here, it's like Iwata, we stand on the shoulders of giants.
Yeah.
And like thinking about like even when we're talking about Pokemon, like he fit. They couldn't fit though, and we've talked in the past, like when we, Iwata, whatever. It's like he fit the old Pokemon world in the new Gold and Silver and stuff. He like not only did he fit like Smash Brothers, like he did amazing things. It's like we got to dedicate this whole freaking episode to him. Like it just felt right. It felt like this culmination and saying like. We're all creator, we're all involved. It made me, this episode, I felt so refreshed. I was like, it feels good to be in this, like, to be a part of this industry in this way. Dweebs, it's not the biggest thing on YouTube, but it feels like my love letter. I put my we put our heart and soul in this because we love video games.
Yeah.
And finishing up this episode, I went, wow, I feel freaking amazing. That I got to put a nugget out there to like of respect to these people, these developers and creators and stuff. But so check that out if you haven't already. But if you did, thank you. And we have one episode left, and we'll talk more about that at the end. But Dweebs. Yeah. Anything else you saw or whatever?
No, I haven't really been watching much of anything. I've been playing a lot of games, but I haven't been watching TV or watching any movies.
Yeah,
it's been kind of dry.
Yeah, I've been watching some stuff other than Dweebs on our channel. I have been watching a couple shows. Attack on Titan is coming up towards the end of its second part of season 3, and this is amazing. I freaking have loved it. It might be my favorite show of the year. I don't know, like if this keeps going, whatever. Just the twists and turns, and it has what Game of Thrones did, and that Game of Thrones had stuff that we were waiting for years for. It's finally paying off.
Yeah.
Amazing just moments in this. Oh, I'm just freaking loving it, and I cannot get enough. They showed a big twist, stuff that we've been waiting for, like lore-wise. Like, what's going on with these big, giant, naked people running around?
Oh, they're getting into that.
And we're finally getting into that. It's like, oh my gosh, it's just incredible, and I'm really loving that.
The show's so interesting to me because the first season was out, and then nothing forever, and then now they're like coming out like clockwork.
Yeah, I think it's going to be like 5-ish seasons, and that'll be it. And really, really loving that. Every episode, I'm just like screaming when it's like to be continued. Everyone has been good, but watch that. Another show that came out, which was the new show from Nicholas
Nicholas Winding
Refn. He's in the new Death Stranding. Kojima is like buddies with him.
I want to hear about this.
But he made a TV show.
He made Drive, Only God Forgives, and Neon Demon.
Yeah.
So kind of indie movie kind of guy.
And he is known for more slow cinema. He's known for, if you've seen any of those movies, they are like, hey, how are you doing?
And then long
pauses. Good. It's so long. They draw out the scene so long. So he made a show called Too Old to Die Young. It's an Amazon exclusive, Amazon Prime Video exclusive. I am almost through the second episode, and I feel like I put a thing on Twitter that I have felt like I've watched this show for 30 hours. The first episode is an hour and like 40 minutes. The second episode is a movie as well. It is so long.
Wait, the first one's how long?
The first episode's an hour and 40-ish minutes. The second one's an hour and 40
Drive
minutes.
is an hour and 20 minutes. That's about all the Winding Refn I can handle in one sitting.
But it creates a mood, and there is shots in this. In this second episode, I'm like looking at this going, oh my gosh. I haven't seen... The only thing I can compare it to is Twin Peaks Season 3 of like that imaginative stuff that you don't see in movies, and like shots that you see are just stuff that I haven't seen in so long. And the cinematography, of course, like Drive, those other ones are just incredible.
It's always a strong suit of his.
I would recommend this to people that like his movies and are into slow stuff. If you're not, this is the limit. This is... Hey, how are you doing? It's Miles Teller from Whiplash. He's in whatever, but I haven't even said the premise. The premise is Miles Teller is this cop in L.A. that gets dragged into this underworld, this kind of criminal underworld, and it goes into weird directions. It's very violent.
Would you say it's more like Drive, or is it more kind of that really dark,
it almost seems
vicious?
It seems like shots from Drives are almost taken from this. Like there's almost shot for shot.
But like the vibe, would you like? Here's the thing. I got in a conversation with this guy. I was talking on Skype. This guy I work with, And we were talking about Winding Refn, right? Because he's seen Neon Demon and Drive. He's thinking about seeing Only God Forgives. He was asking me my thoughts on Only God Forgives. So this is very fresh in my memory. Drive is his best film, bar none, because it is very visually really good. Thematically, it's really interesting. The story is very, it's not like explicitly told to you, but you can follow it. It's just great. It's a great movie. His next two movies visually are more and more amazing, but to me they just borderline on sort of absurdism, which is cool, and I get it, and not every story has to be literal, but they are almost like a rejection of Drive. Had like a heart to it. Like there was a guy who was kind of cold and distant, but like there was a girl. And he kind of like had a little bit of a thing with her. Not overt, but a little. And she had a son, I think, right? She had a son. And there was a little bit, and she had a boyfriend that you're like, oh, this might be like that traditional boyfriend that comes back and is mean, but he's actually kind of nice, even though... And I just liked that movie kind of had a little bit of a heart inside of this really dark, center. Yeah. Only God Forgives has none of that heart, and Neon Demon has none of that heart. Those movies are just so cynical that like I just... To me, I'm just sitting here and it's just super cynical and dark, and I'm just like, I get it. Man, like I liked his movie better. I think he rejects how accessible Drive was.
Drive was probably the most accessible in this movie.
Because it had that heart within the dark, mysterious, quiet, drawn out. Does this have any heart? Because if it doesn't, I don't know if it's for me.
There's actually more story with these characters and stuff, and they're talking and there's stuff going on. I'm only 2 episodes in because it's taken for me forever to get through it at that time. But I feel like it is back to more Drive, like talk, like there's more whatever. Where I'll say where Neon Demon I actually love a lot. You did not like. We were.
I appreciate it artistically,
but where I like it, I get what you're saying about like there's more character stuff and he cares about this whatever. I like Neon Demon for its more. There was more ambiguity and more like themes. It was more about this theme of like fame and all this stuff. And
I get that, yeah.
And I see where they are different. I can see if you
to
like
me,
more
all three of those movies have those themes. To me, it's just like, is there any kind of redemption inside of it?
Yeah.
And it's not a movie about redemption. It's a movie about fame and how. So I just like a little kernel of hope. Yeah. And his last 2 movies have not had that, and so
there was something that happened. So with the slowness, it almost is like I hate to say it, the Dark Souls of movie. If you get that slowness when stuff happens violent or whatever or funny, it is amplified because of like even Dead by Daylight. The reward is amplified because you fell so many times. This movie's so slow, or this movie.
Something funny happens or something.
Something. I'll go ahead and spoil it because it's so funny. It's in the first episode, I think.
Your name's Bean? Was it that kind of thing?
It had me like cracking out loud. There was a part when the guy he's dating this like younger girl. Miles Teller's dating this kind of like underage girl in it. And she's like, I want you to meet my dad or whatever. So they go to the house, and this guy, the actor that plays him, oh my gosh, I can't even like reenact. This character is so like memorable. He just keeps snorting and like I don't know if it's like I don't know like he keeps making these noises and stuff, but like he smokes cocaine or something on the side or whatever. But he's one of the Baldwins or whatever.
Oh, interesting.
And he gets him in the room or whatever, and he's like, so you're dating my daughter or whatever. It's just that awkwardness. And Miles Teller sits there like Ryan Gosling for like 3 minutes and goes, yes, I am. And has no emotion the whole time. So there's a part when they go in the room, it's like, you want to see her room or whatever? So they go in there, it's like, well, let's talk or whatever. He sits down on the bed. Looks at him. There's a long pause. He grabs a tiger stuffed animal. This is so out of like nowhere, left field. Puts it in front of his face. Miles Teller is still looking, just no emotion. He goes. And there is like a minute of that, or like
I gotta watch this. This sounds awesome.
And I'm losing it. I'm like, what is going on? So if you want to go for a ride, if you have the patience to deal with it, Too Old to Die Young, I'll probably I'll have more to say.
He's like a modern day, way more vicious Lynch.
Yeah,
that's how he kind of is.
And some of the shots, there is like long shots where there is amazing shots in this where they'll have a conversation with this like cop guy or whatever, and the camera will pan back over. There's someone talking, and they'll just go very slowly back to over here, and this person will still be talking off screen, and they'll just keep that long one shot. They'll pan. Ungodly shots, like stuff I was just like, it reminded me of Twin Peaks season 3 of like, you're not seeing this in any other thing. So
you sold me. I want to check it out.
Yeah, definitely check that out. Last thing I watched, Evangelion Netflix. Not much to say. We've said a lot about that in the past, but it was a whole new English dub.
Did you watch the whole thing?
No, I'm 6 episodes in, and we got in the other night or whatever. Some people came over and watched it. Some stuff's better. Some stuff not better. Some stuff they changed to where it was weird.
Yeah.
One was the title names. The title names. So one of my favorite episodes is called The Hedgehog's Dilemma. It's a great.
No, they changed that.
It's
too.
a great name of the title.
Yeah.
And what I found out was there was an original Japanese title, which is in Japanese. Then there was an English title, The Hedgehog's Dilemma, that the Japanese studio themselves picked for the English audience. They chose that. It wasn't like a.
It's not a translation. It's just they picked that for them.
They said we wanted it to be called that. I liked that. Now there's a new Netflix titling that takes the Japanese title and directly translate it word for word. And I was just like, I don't like these.
What is the Hedgehog's Dilemma now?
It's something like your spirit's high. I don't know. It was like this, a comma, and something else, and it's not good. But all in all, some stuff's better. Some stuff's actually, they fixed the dub. There was stuff in the English translation. There's stuff in the end of Evangelion movie where they're like, they say the F word, and that wasn't, they just started getting edgy with it. I don't know if it was the 90s or
also,
whatever.
there's things that just, they say the wrong thing
in
the English sub. Like, they call something Lilith when it's actually Adam, or they call things the wrong things.
It's literally the wrong thing. So, with that, maybe we'll get like somebody will combine all these good things, and it'll be like a freaking Final Fantasy 6 translation or whatever when they fix all the good stuff. So, yeah, check that out. It's cool that it's coming to a bigger audience.
I'm excited about that. I was on the fence because I have a friend, Sam. I've been trying to get him to watch it, and he's interested in it. And I like told him about it, and I pulled it back because I was like, "You should watch it when it hits Netflix." And then the first day it released, I was seeing all these things, and I told him, I was like, "Hey, actually, hold off. It might not be good." But then I sat back and thought about it. I was like, "He's going to get 98% the same experience that I got, regardless of what the dub is or what it's sub or dub or which translation." Just watch it. Yeah, you know what I mean? I think that I think it's great that more people can access it.
Other stuff I watched was Beach Bum. Watched the new movie Beach Bum from Harmony Korine. He's made Gummo. Sorry, not Gumbo. Gummo. He's made Spring Breakers.
Gummo takes place right up the road from here. Xenia.
Yeah. Spring Breakers, Julian Donkey Boy. So, he is an auteur of these kind of weird kind of films or whatever. This Matthew McConaughey is basically a bum who has married a very rich woman or whatever, and but he just lives his life as this bum. This movie, me and my wife had a great time from beginning to end watching this. It is so goofy. It is what I really enjoy is like the way they cut and edit as well. So he'll be having a conversation, Matthew McConaughey, with this guy like, "Oh, I need to go do this, and I need to whatever, and blah, blah, blah. I need to write." He's like a writer. He was known as this writer, the Beach Bum, whatever, and he hasn't wrote in so long. So he's just kind of like skating along with what he did before. But they'll have this conversation, and then they'll cut to another scene of them kind of continuing the conversation, and then they'll come back to the original scene and continue the conversation. It's so fat, you never get bored.
Almost reminds me of like an Inception type thing.
Yeah, and you never get bored. The way they cut it, there is characters in this that had me. I was crying laughing in this movie. Some of the characters, Martin Lawrence is in this.
Oh, nice.
He plays a character. We were in stitches. Me and my wife could not get enough of this. And if you're in for a good time if you want to check out The Beach Bum.
I've never heard of it.
Snoop Dogg is also in this.
Oh my gosh.
And
what a cast.
Freaking who's the guy? Oh my gosh, I am embarrassed that I forgot the name. The guy who sings Margaritaville.
Oh, Jimmy Buffett.
Jimmy Buffett is in this movie.
Oh wow.
With Snoop Dogg.
Oh my gosh.
It is a crazy, crazy time. So I really like that.
Interesting.
Me and my wife watched Fantasia as well. That was a double feature.
Fantasia
and Beach Bum.
That is a movie I've never had any interest in whatsoever.
As a kid, I really liked it. The broom and
I've seen trailers and it looked like a nap. It looked awful.
So yeah, that movie is very torn because there's that part, but then that movie goes into artsy fartsy, weird world. But watching as an adult, so as a kid, I just liked to watch that part and I skipped everything else because it says it even tells you, it has to explain to you, we're going to be playing an orchestra with music. It's them playing music to like art. And the art goes to it. And as we're sitting back watching this came out in like the 40s, I look over at my wife and I'm like, he made the music video. That's what they were trying to, like, they have to explain, we're making music and it goes to art and things or whatever. And
wow.
As we're watching, I went, oh my gosh, he's talking about the music video. He just didn't have a name for it yet. And with that lens or whatever, and as you're watching it, you can appreciate it. There are parts where it's like, this is going on for quite a while, and I could see, but watching it through that lens, I had a good time.
Yeah.
And, pretty crazy they made that. It was so ambitious and like they put so much time into it. It was like crazy. So that was a double feature that night. And then we watched
John Wick 3.
John Wick 3.
You ever seen John Wick?
Nope. Don't care.
You would like John Wick.
You think so?
Dude,
it is fast paced.
It's your kind of movie. 90 minutes in and out, crazy action.
It's an action movie. So it has Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll say his name 8 times.
Cyberpunk. Mm-hmm. That's how the movie opens up. John Wick 3. But this movie is nonstop action. You will be giggling, laughing at the action. It is such a almost.
We talked about it afterwards. Movie. If you've never seen John Wick, he's a crazy assassin in a world of assassins. In this movie, all the assassins are trying to kill him. He's trying to get out of New York City. That's the premise. That's all you really need to know. This movie, the set pieces of like the fights, the way they start out, like there's a fight and there's like these guys in this room and he fights them, and then this on this street and they fight. Yeah. This movie sets up like really well defined action set pieces, and they're almost like comedy in the way that they play out. Not that they're funny, but like they set up a joke and then they do it and then they do it again and make it a little crazier, and then they subvert what you think is going to happen, and then they have like a grand finale. It reminded me of Game Maker Toolkit did a thing on like, when you're making a platformer, like introduce a mechanic, iterate on it, then subvert it and make it really hard, and then do like a slam dunk. And this did that, but with action. So like they'd walk into a room and like a guy pulls out a knife, and then he fights him with a knife. And then a guy, they look and they see there's knives in all the things, so they bust open the windows and they all have knives. And then they're throwing the knives, and he uses a man as a pin cushion, and like he's catching knives with a guy, and then he pulls out all those knives and kills a bunch of guys.
It was so fun watching it in a group.
And it was like 8 of those. It was just like a set piece and then a set piece and a set piece, and they all followed that same flow.
It was fun watching it in a group because we would look over laughing at each other.
And some of it's brutal, some of it's just funny, some of it's crazy, and it doesn't give you any time to get bored. So
it was so fun. So definitely recommend all 3 of those movies. They're
also
fun.
At the end he fights, not the end, but late in the movie he fights 2 guys at once.
Yes.
I confirmed not only was the one guy from the raid, that is the end guy from the raid and the raid 2.
Oh,
the other guy was.
I know
so he fought the 2 guys from the raid and the raid 2, the end bosses from those 2 movies.
And that fight was me smiling. I was watching it smiling.
Almost better than the end fight. It was so good. It was so good.
It was so fun. I think that about covers it.
Yeah.
Hangouts will be coming back. I've been doing Star Tropics. I haven't beat it yet. Those have been really fun. I had somebody call me out on the last hangout that said they said because I was using save states, and they were like, they said, what's the point of playing this? You keep using save states every 2 seconds. I was like, you know what? I played Dark Souls. I don't have to live. I started playing with this person, and I was like, but you know what? You're right, because I said I'd make a rule that I'd use save states each room I went into, and I was using it so often. I was like, but he stayed, and we had a good time and stuff. So
he called you out.
I was like, "You're calling me out. I'm mad at you, but you're right." Those should be back. I should be finishing up Star Tropics the next hangout.
I don't know anything about that game. Nope. Nothing. Never heard of it.
NES game that's wacky like Zelda, and it's on the Switch Online thing.
That's cool.
It's kind of like Zelda, but it's very goofy.
Interesting.
Goofy game. But
goofy Zelda.
That. So hangouts will be coming back soon. Dweebs is coming to a close.
To a close, yeah.
With the finale.
Great time to get caught up. 4 episodes, 30 minutes each. Watch them. I think you'll have a blast.
Knock them out. We put a lot of work into this. Like I said, my heart and soul went into this project.
And if you have stuck with us through the first 4 episodes and enjoyed it, you'll really like this last one, I think.
So this last one, Dweebs, episode 5, Start Game is the name of it. And it comes out July 25th. That's the planned release. We'll see if it don't get Final Fantasy VII pushed back, delayed.
Broken into an untold number of parts.
It's a pretty big episode. So yeah, looking forward to that. So thank you for watching. You can check us out on DweeBoYT on Twitter to see when we're going up, when these Dweebs episodes go up, whatever, hangouts, whatever, when we go live. That's all the information. We also have Instagram, Dweebo. I think it's official Dweebo. Yeah, that one's on that. And yeah, check us out on there. I put behind the scenes pictures on the Instagram and stuff like that. It's pretty fun. Yeah, so thanks for watching. And we'll be back next month with even a bigger show. We're going to have fireworks. Yeah, because July 4th.
July 4th.
So I might set off a firework in my house. You never know. But until then, thank you for watching. Look forward to Dweebs Episode 5.
It's breathtaking.
It's breathtaking. I gotta get through this. Guys. Dweebs
You're
episode.
breathtaking.
You're breathtaking. Dweebs episode 5. But when does it come out? And what is gonna be in this game? It's when the team at DweeBros showed me it. I couldn't believe what I was seeing.
It's like I'm watching Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves.
I hate this.
So check this out.
Hey, you need to...